21:23. Think of the president. He who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps himself from calamity. Think of tweets. You could think of the other presidential candidate too. Wow. He who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps himself from calamity. Sticks and stones can break your bones, and words can cause disasters untold. Guard your mouth and your tongue. Say things which come from God. Don't speak unwisely. Don't speak quickly. Watch over your words. Be careful in what you say. I don't know how else to put this. We have an example on the highest public stage of a man who blurts and causes himself so much trouble, sometimes the country so much trouble, by, I guess it's on a phone, so yeah, not a good thing. Okay, so guard your lips. Husbands, guard your lips. It'll save you from calamity with your wife. Next verse, 24. The proud and arrogant man, mocker is his name. He behaves with overweening pride. Mockers keep getting mentioned in Proverbs. Maybe as a king, Solomon got really tired of people who tore down his decisions and attacked his wisdom. So the proud and arrogant man, the man who's looking to himself for greatness, not looking to God for greatness, who's saying, I am the best, he's the guy who mocks. He's the guy who tears down everything because he's not acting out of love. He's acting out of self-interest, and he's trying to promote himself before others. So he behaves that way. He becomes puffed up. And don't do that. That's kind of the warning of the passage. Most of the passages say, do this or don't do that. This one just basically says, this is the state of being when you are proud and arrogant, when you're a mocker, then that's what you are. You are not an honorable man. You should not be glorified. You really are an overinflated bag of air that's at some point going to get pricked, popped, and disappear. 25. The sluggard's craving will be the death of him, because his hands refuse to work. Sluggard showing up again. What does the sluggard crave? Well, he craves sleep, or he craves food, or he craves pleasure. Often in the case of sluggard, it's sleep or just a craving to not do. And because of that, you will die. Because you refuse to do the simplest things that God has given your vocation, through which God gives you good blessings. And then eventually other people turn on you too. They really don't want to continue working hard so that you can lie about, so that you can be a lay-a-bed. Solomon keeps coming back to this when you're writing to young people and you're trying to give them a start in life. Industriousness is one of the most important things to teach. 26. All day long he craves for more, but the righteous give without sparing. Okay, so 26 is perhaps the all day long he craves. This is the sluggard who craves for more. But the righteous gives without sparing. I remember there were times when we had little of something, growing up with 8 people, 6 kids and 2 adults. Maybe there was cake or something and there wasn't very much of it. And my dad would, no, you guys all have a piece, and he wouldn't have a piece. I mean, when we had more than enough, certainly my dad ate well. But he wasn't, he was one who wanted to see others have pleasure and be filled. And sometimes he was willing to make a sacrifice himself so others could have something good. And this is the idea. The focus of the sluggard is on self. The focus of the righteous is outside of yourself. It's on God, it's on others. You do occasionally have to look and take care of yourself, don't get me wrong, but the focus is different because God is focused on those outside himself. Look what Christ did, right? He had everything, but he was focused on our salvation. And so he went to the cross and he gave without sparing. He gave literally everything. Okay, let's go to 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is detestable. How much more so when brought with evil intent? God detests the sacrifice of the wicked because, first of all, they're a stench in his nostrils. Their life, he doesn't want to associate with them. But they bring their sacrifice with evil intent. The second half of this comes from their heart. So Cain brought his sacrifice to try to manipulate God. Abel brought his sacrifice because he loved God. When the one brings their sacrifice with evil intent, when the politician or the business sets up the charity with the idea that now they'll be able to avoid taxes and now they'll get a good reputation and it will appear to the world that they are so righteous. That's a stench in God's nostrils. It isn't that he can't use those charities for good, and he often does use evil for good. But before God, this is a terrible thing. And when we go to church and we give in the offering plate, we'll probably have mixed things because we are sinner and saint. And part of us will have the evil intent. Well, what if people don't see me giving in the offering plate? Or what if God gets mad at me because I'm not giving and he gave me so much and he wants me to help out? And part of us will say, thank you, Lord, for these good gifts. And I really do want to help out the church, and I want to help out the people that the church helps. It is a wonderful thing that I get a chance to say thank you to you, and I get a chance to be a part of your ministry by giving. So the part which says, oh, God hates it. The part which says, thank you, Lord, that gives him great and joyous pleasure. 28. A false witness will perish, and whoever listens to him will be destroyed forever. So the second half definitely is talking eternity. A false witness is someone who points not to Christ as Christ has presented himself, has given himself, revealed himself. They could point to a false Christ, or they could point to Christ in a false way. Or they could point to something besides Christ. And when he does that, he has turned his back on God, and God will cause him to eternally perish. The second half will be destroyed forever. If you follow a false witness because you're not building on the foundation of the Lord, you're now building on the sand. When the storm comes, when Christ comes again, instead of being in this firm foundation on a beautiful edifice built out of gold and other precious things, it comes into a house and lives in salvation and weathers the storm and now goes into joy and happiness, your house collapses and you die. We could extend this metaphor to daily life, certainly, as God acts in our kingdom. When you listen to politicians and to teachers and to gurus who build their foundation not on the order that God has given to the universe, on the wisdom, the Sophia that he has implanted from the beginning, that leads to death, both for the false teacher and for those who have now built their life on lies. We're going to close there. Have a good day.